was so bizarre. Is it bringing you up on the same one? Hello, I don't know what happened. Just all of a sudden, lights out. The whole thing crashed. So, thanks for being here and joining again. We'll take two. I don't know. I was just going and all of a sudden just the whole app crashed. It was so strange. But here we go again. Thanks for joining. I'll give it a second and let people kind of come back in. Did you have those questions that I can look at? I lost some of the questions. I don't know what happened. Okay. The crystal ball works. Yeah. Welcome. If you're just joining, we had to start over again because things crashed. Yeah, I think I already had that one. We'll see what happens. Hello, welcome back. I don't know what happened. It just, everything shut down and the whole app crashed. So we're trying again. So welcome back. If you had questions, please put them in the little question box so I can read them. Yeah, that was really bizarre. Just all of a sudden I was talking and then it was like lights out. I don't know. Dance until people join. Yeah, so where was I? I don't even remember what question I was on because, yeah, that was not expected. But that's what happens. That brings me to a really great point, and I think this would be really could apply to anybody. So things happen in life. Hello, welcome. What kind of tattoos do you have? So this one says, love yourself first, and then everything falls into place. And there's bunnies and a cute little girl, and yeah, that's one of mine. But, and there's a story to that, but I won't, maybe for another time. But so if you're just joining, something happened, like the app crashed and then everything, I had to start it all over again. But it brings me to a great point in that, life happens, things happen in life, and it's important to be able to, thank you. It's important to be able to really, kind of pivot anytime, roll with uncertainty. The more comfortable you can get with uncertainty or things happening, the easier life becomes. When, things don't go our way, it's important to be able to navigate that. And, the more we can do that with grace and with ease, it makes it a lot easier. So welcome. Thank you for joining. We had a little glitch before. We kind of, we're round 2. So, let me know if you have questions. Pop them in I think it looks like a little box with a question for you on your end. So be sure if you have a question or you're wanting some guidance or needing some support, you put it in there. Earlier we were talking about claircognizance, and that was one gift a particular person was talking about that they felt like they had. And so, and then everything just went, shut off. So, hello. Thank you for being here. So many wonderful people. I just want to say thank you. Today, we hit 40K. That was amazing. I'm still kind of like, can't believe it, but here we are. So cheers. And, yeah, I'm here for you guys tonight. So pop your questions in. Let me know if you are needing any support in any area of your life or what you're needing, help with, and I'm here for you. So, and the sooner we start asking and rolling, the sooner you'll get your questions asked. This is actually, Alejandro, this is hot water with lemon, honey, and ginger. And I like drinking it a lot because, believe it or not, when you're like, I do a lot of intuitive guidance and coaching privately, but I also do these. And so throughout the day, I'm actually talking quite a bit. So, and just my vocal cords, you know, can get a little worn out at times from all the talking. So I like drinking this because it helps just kind of soothe my throat when it gets dry. So, you guys are so quiet tonight. Do you have any questions? Want to know anything? You good? Let me know. Hello, welcome. Let me know where you're coming in from. Yes, it is possible. Hello from Guatemala. Ems, it is possible. But I wouldn't. It's just a matter of like who comes in. So, at this time, I'm not necessarily feeling anyone. So, but if I do, I will let you know. So, how do you make your intuition better? South Carolina, Colombia, hello, California. Yay, welcome. Okay, so how do you make your intuition better? So, well, there's a lot of ways you can do that. You can definitely check out my videos and practice. But really, no, I'm kidding, but I'm kind of not kidding. Like, one of the ways that I started developing my intuition was practicing games like this, like playing the name game, you know, like reading a card, like what's on the other side of the card, being in developmental groups. I didn't learn from a book. Like, not to say you can't learn from a book, but you learn from actually practicing. So practicing in your everyday life, you know, paying attention to when your intuition is speaking to you, and then listening and taking action on what you're given, like the guidance you're being given. So it really is a practice. And the more you can practice with other people and like-minded people, it helps to kind of even enhance, because, you know, we're all energy. And so when we're in kind of a space with like-minded people, it really helps to, you know, kick up that energy. And it's one of the reasons why on some of the videos, especially the one that comes to mind a lot is like the lion video, if you've seen that. A lot of people were like, I got deer. Why did I get deer? And what's happening is the collective answers, they're picking up on the collective answers. Even though deer wasn't the answer, many people said deer, and then they were picking up on each other. And so know that one, it's about allowing and receiving the messages to come to you, and then know that you could also be picking up on the collective energy, meaning the energy of everybody around you. So so to be able to you know, develop and practice, it's about really continuing to practice and develop it through practice, through exercises, through every day, you know, every way that your intuition is showing up and that it's trying to speak to you. And so part of what I'm doing is helping you become more aware of how you're receiving messages. And that's the other piece, like how you receive is another aspect, because how you receive will give you clues as to how you can develop that particular gift. So kind of notice how you're receiving information. Are you hearing it? Are you seeing it? Are you knowing it? Like we were talking about earlier. Are you, you know, feeling it? Like, how is it coming to you? That's a great way to start to kind of tune into how you specifically receive, because every intuitive is a bit different, and the way that they receive information is a bit different. And, you know, like when I think of mediumship, there are, like I'm what's called an evidential medium, which means spirit will give me like evidence to give to you so you know that it's real. And there's some mediums who specialize in like medical mediumship. and their focus is being able to kind of see what's going on with someone health-wise or in the body. That is not my level of expertise. So each person, each intuitive receives information differently. Just like in the, the realms of people that identify themselves as witches. Like there are people who are drawn to plants or herbs. There are people that are drawn to crystals. There are people that are drawn to tarot. There are people that are drawn to different types of tools and modalities. So know that your intuition is speaking to you and through you in a specific way. Now there are some commonalities with all of us, but when you can start to understand how you specifically receive information, it's going to help you to understand more how to develop that particular gift, if that makes sense. And also just notice what you feel drawn to, right? What do you feel drawn to? I personally don't identify as a witch. I mean, some people would probably call me that, but, and I have no problem with it, but, I personally, feel like I consider myself to be more of an intuitive, a healer. I am able to look at the root of a problem or the root of the trauma and help them pull it out of them so they can no longer be operating from that place of trauma, fear, that sort of thing. So each intuitive's a bit different in their specialty and kind of their experience. I also feel like each of us goes through the experiences we do and the trials, tribulations, traumas, experiences that we do to then heal and come to the other side of and then help other people with. So for me, I've really spent a lot of time healing from body dysmorphia, self-hatred, emotional, physical, sexual abuse, teenage pregnancy, so many different things. And so I can help a lot of people with a lot of different areas because I've gone through and been through a lot. So I believe that's my work to do. Now, I don't feel like I'm necessarily qualified to be, like I said, a medical medium where you're focused on somebody's issue within the body, specifically. So that was a long way to say all that, but there it is. And that's another thing too. Sometimes I channel, so sometimes if I go off, just know and trust that somebody's meant to hear the message that's coming through. Yeah, okay. I'm going to go to the questions in the Q&A box, so be sure to put your question in there so I don't miss it, okay? Because when I'm doing this, I'm really not seeing much of the comments, so, because I'm trying to focus and be here with you and also channel and also answer your questions. So, okay. Okay. Is it Hillary? I think it's Hillary. Hillary asks, how can I feel a loved one that has passed? Well, first, don't be afraid to have a conversation. You may not go into blah, 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 and I did blah, 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 blah today and whatever, but don't be afraid to call them forward and to say you want to connect to them and please to show you a sign, that they're there with you. A lot of times spirit is trying to connect with us through song, through symbols, through animals, through other people. Really all mediumship is a spirit deciding for me or someone else who's a medium to be the messenger, to give the message to the person who is still in the physical realm. So, and we all have intuitive abilities because we're all souls. And so you can connect with loved ones who have passed. But you have to be open and you have to have free will because we are humans, so we do have free will. So call them in, ask them, say, if it's mom, dad, show me a sign that you're with me and see what answer comes to you. And just notice again how you're receiving information. Because believe me, they are with you. They're with you always. They don't, just because we move on in the physical form does not mean we're not still around, that we're all energy. And so even when someone has passed, they're still with you. They're still there. Like, not in physical form, of course, which is the part that's, I think, what people grieve the most, you know? But it doesn't mean that they're not with you. So part of it is ask. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Artismo, is that how you say it? I hope I'm not butchering that. Does spirit sound like an actual voice or in your head? So, if you're clairaudient, meaning you hear, right? Like, in particular, I hear my own voice. Like, so I'll hear it as like a word, but it sounds like my own voice. I know some people do hear it as like someone else's voice. So, what's your question again? I just double check, make sure I'm actually answering it. Does spirit sound like your actual voice? Or so so when I say like talk to spirit or connect with spirit, it's not going to necessarily be through audio, right? It depends how you're able to receive information. So maybe it's maybe you're seeing something in your third eye, maybe it's a symbol or a sign or something. Spirit is always going to try and show you something that you relate to so that you understand it. As a medium, I don't necessarily understand why I'm seeing what I'm seeing or why I'm getting what I'm getting, but my only job is to deliver it to you. So know that Spirit's going to do their best job to try and help you understand, the message. And so the biggest challenge is, and this goes for anybody who is wanting to connect or to reach a loved one or that sort of thing, is watching that you're not getting in your own way. Meaning, when something comes in or a thought comes in or an idea, or you're hearing something, to not try and sit there and say like, oh, well, that can't be it, because that's just too simple, right? Because we like to try and talk ourselves out of it. So that can be really, really challenging. So the hardest part, I think, about all of this is just not getting in your own way. Not doubting yourself, not doubting spirit, not doubting the answer that you're getting, right? And wanting it to be a different answer or a better answer, or oh, it's got to be more complicated. Like, as humans, we want to make it complicated, but it's really not. It's actually really easy. So, okay, let me see here. Thank you for your question, by the way. Let's see. Oh, thanks for the heart, Splash King. Let's see. How do you channel a relative? So again, you can sit in meditation, you can be out in nature and just like ask them to come forward. Like, I always personally start any session with, like, I do this, within myself. I say, like, spirit guides of the highest truth and compassion, I invite you to work through me now. I also make sure I ground myself first. It's really important to ground your energy. And then it's like, you want to think of it as you want to complete the loop, right? So anytime you're opening up to spirit, you want to ground yourself. You want to open the session by setting an intention of, I'm wanting to only connect with, spirits of the highest love, truth, and compassion. And then at the end, you want to close the loop. So thank you, spirit. Please release any energy that I may have lost, and please retrieve any energy that I may, that does not, please retrieve any energy that I may have lost, and please return any energy that is not mine back to its sender with love. So you always want to make sure that you're closing that loop, so Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. Okay, Alejandro, I feel scary going to cemeteries. What does that mean? It probably means that a couple things. It probably means that you probably watched a lot of movies growing up as a kid. You could be sensing, energies that you're just not used to or comfortable with. I personally, I'm not saying like dark energies or negative energies don't exist, but I personally don't play with that or call that in. So that's just not my experience. But I have a feeling some of it is like your brain kind of recalling all the movies and all the, we like to scare ourselves. Like we do a really good job of it. When I was a kid and I would like babysit, I remember I'd be babysitting in this big house for like these, wealthy people, and I'd be out in the middle of the woods and I'm just freak myself out, right? And I think we do that a lot. I think we, recall or let our brain, I like to call it, like we like to script a lot. So we're scripting out what might happen or what the outcome's going to be. And so I invite you to, one, if you're going to visit cemeteries, be sure you ground yourself first, right? Get good and grounded. Then to also set your intention as to why you're there, what you want to do there, what you want to experience, and that's true for anything in life. Like, put your focus, energy goes where focus, where you're putting your focus is where energy will go. So by setting an intention that you want to have a beautiful, loving experience or whatever, that's what you're going to experience, right? So be sure to set your intention to be something that isn't creating nightmares. Like, we have very powerful imaginations, and we can create nightmares or we can create dreams. So, decide which one you want to create, and then put that energy, put your intention into that. And then anytime the brain wants to come in and be like, ooh, but there's something to be afraid of and scary, like, just like, nope, I'm going to be present. I'm trusting, loving, knowing that I'm supported, guided. Everything's cool, And if it really freaks you out, then just don't go. That's the other option. So I hope that was helpful. Okay, let's see. This one I just find funny. Like, do they see everything? Like, everything? Yeah, I wonder that too sometimes. But I mean, on the one hand, I think maybe, but on the other hand, I'm not entirely sure. And I would think, honestly, that, Spirit's going to want to be respectful, But it is a question I think about too sometimes, like, are my grandparents watching right now? There's just times where you don't want to have Spirit around. But, no, I think that, again, it comes to free will. It comes to like inviting them in, asking them to be there. And really, when you can create kind of ritual around it, and like, maybe it's like part of your morning practice. I think it's like kind of setting the intention and saying like, okay, this is what it looks like. This is when I want it to be. This is how I want to experience it. But yeah, I think that's funny. Oh, thank you. Time check. Okay. Let's see. Do you cleanse spaces with herbs? How is that done? Yeah, so I use sage and I use Palo Santo. My words. Sometimes, yes. I think it is important to honor the practices and the people of where, in which it came from, indigenous people. So definitely do your research. But I mainly use it for clearing my energy, and sometimes spaces. And, there's several ways to do it. I think it's just a matter of, again, setting your intention, deciding what, what you're clearing. And there's other ways to clear, because you're taking on so much and you're receiving so much information, so much energy. You're working with a lot of energy. So it's important to clear that energy, and to clear, after a session, or after even these calls, I'll make sure to clear my energy. And sometimes if it's really intense, then I will make sure to take a sea salt bath and kind of just whoosh, let it all go, because, some of this can be pretty intense. So, clearing is very important. And I think it's important to also honor the practices of people who came before us. So, do your research, see what you feel drawn to or called to, and find a way to do it sustainably that honors, the people who do it, who created it, who, the practices that were put in place. So, and you can create your own rituals too, while still honoring the rituals of, the ancestors that, it was built upon. So let's see here. Okay, there's some kind of similar questions here. So I'll go with M here. What if I try to connect but cannot? So, one, it takes practice, it's not something we learn in school. And I would say just continue to practice, try different methods, meditation is a great way, journaling is a great way, walking in nature can be a way, to do meditation. And being in a meditative state doesn't always have to be sitting, seated or lying down. It can be washing the dishes or going for a walk in nature. It's the biggest piece is just quieting your mind enough and removing distractions to be able to hear your inner voice, to be able to hear spirit. So I have a feeling that, there's just a lot going on around you, and a lot of notifications going off and this and that. It's going to require you to put the phone down and step away from it and allow yourself to be in quiet. One of the things that I'm grateful for is that I was born when I was, because I know what it's like to live without technology. I'm old enough for that. And, but I remember how peaceful and fun and playful it was, and how much more I felt like I used my imagination. And so I really feel for younger people now that they don't know what it's like to grow up without technology. And so it's a returning back to our kind of primitive ways. So I'm not saying abandon all ship and leave all technology behind, but it is going to require you to set aside some time, carve out some space where you can be with yourself, be with your thoughts, be with silence. So I hope that helps. Okay. So yes, continue to practice. All right, let's see. So how to connect with a spirit guide, need help? Well, thank you for asking. So again, there are many ways to connect with guides. You can do there are a lot of guided meditations for this, where it can help walk you through that process. There are a lot of free ones out there. I also have one that I've created. So it's really about, I think it helps if you're new, especially to kind of any of this, having someone kind of guide you through the process to connect to your guides. But that's not to say you don't have to. There's many ways to do it. You can do it again through auto writing, which is a process of writing a stream of consciousness. And then there is where you're connecting and inviting your guides to come work with you and through you, and you can can write. And there too, I start with the stem sentence, "Dear spirit guides of the highest truth and compassion, I invite you to work through me now." And then I write out the questions that I have, and then just allow whatever comes to come through you. So maybe your question is, I would like to meet one of my spirit guides today, please show yourself, or tell me what you look like. What is your name? Whatever, who are you, and then allow yourself to just write whatever's kind of coming to you without, again, trying to get in the way, make it wrong, make it right, judge it, just allowing it to come. So that's one way you could do that. Also, meditation again. There are many ways to practice connecting to your guides, but again, it's going to require you to allow some space and some time to have peace and quiet, and so you have to gift yourself that. You have to give yourself that time. Let's see here. So if you're just joining, welcome. Please put your question in the Q box if you want any guidance, or if you have any questions about anything, or if you're looking to, have a bit of a reading. I'll try and get to as many as I can within the hour here. Oh, and actually that reminds me, just going forward, I have decided that I really just started this recently, but I was doing these lives Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific Central Time. I'm going to continue to do Monday through Thursday, though. I just find that I need one extra day to self-care, recharge, reset, because not only am I on here with all of you, which is lovely and wonderful, but I'm also supporting clients throughout the day, and creating courses and things like that too. So just to allow myself a little bit more self-care time and breathing time. I'm no longer going to be doing Fridays, but I'll still be here Monday through Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific Central Time. So just wanted to give you a heads up so you knew, why, if you don't see me tomorrow, why that is. So let's see. Okay. How do you close yourself off, shield, or ground? So I don't necessarily close myself off, but I will say that I do definitely ground. And when I think of shield, I think more of when I first started this journey and I realized I was an empath, I was not in a good place with being an empath. Especially in my 20s, I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know why I was feeling all these feelings. I didn't know if they were mine or somebody else's. I just didn't understand what was happening. And so I would use a lot of things that weren't serving me to cope, like smoking and drinking and overeating and all these things to try and cope with all the feelings I was feeling and all the energy that I was carrying. And I just didn't know any of these things. And so as I started to learn about what it means to be highly sensitive, what it means to be an empath, and all these things that go with it, I started to then have techniques and tools to ground myself, to put on my, as you call it, shield. I don't feel like closing yourself off is the answer, because actually I think part of our journey as, souls having a human experience is to open ourselves up more to love, right? To love even when it's hard. And so over time, I would use these tools, and I learned to understand them, how to use them. I would use them all the time. But then over time, as I felt stronger in myself, stronger in my own energy, stronger in my understanding of what it meant to be highly sensitive, I was able to no longer need to put on my shield. Now, if I need that, I'll go to that. But I don't feel the need to protect myself anymore. I do still ground myself because I want to be in my body. In order for you to receive information, it's good to be in your body because then you can notice it. Yeah. So so I don't come from a place of feeling like, oh, I need to protect myself from everything and everyone. I definitely went through that phase. But once I really kind of took control and understood like what it means to be an empath, what it means to be highly sensitive, how to navigate that, how to discern like what my energy is and what someone else's energy is, and really get clear on that, like where I begin and someone else ends. Then I didn't really need to use those as much. But when you're new and you're, just learning about this, I would definitely say like use some of these like techniques. One that's really great I'll share with you tonight is, you can imagine, for all the empaths out there or people who feel like they take on the emotions of others, you can imagine like a big glass shield coming between you and the other person. That way they can still see you, you can still interact, but you're not taking on their energy, their emotions, their stuff. Because here's the thing, it is not for you to take it on. It's just not. Empaths, the reason we're able to feel what we're able to feel, and I know it can feel like a curse if you don't know how to navigate this, but it's actually a superpower. And what we're meant to do is to see it, observe it, to understand it, and then to help support other people through whatever it is you're feeling them go through. So it's not for us to take on and to own or wear like a coat. So, but maybe more of a sword than a shield. Yeah. Again, I just feel like, I feel like when it comes to, how do I put this? So I feel like anytime we learn anything, sometimes we swing way, like the pendulum swings way the other way, right? It's like so most of my life I was a people pleaser, right? I'll give this example. So most of my life I was a people pleaser. And then I started understanding and learning more about like, oh wait, no, I matter too. And my boundaries matter, and it's okay to have boundaries, and it's okay for me to say no, and it's okay for me to say yes, and it's really a gift for me to decide, do I want to do that or not, right? And then, but at one point in the beginning of my journey, the pendulum swang the other way, and I was like, I'm protecting myself, I'm putting up all these boundaries, and you can't do this, and you can't talk to me, and you whatever, right? So I think sometimes, especially when we're first like kind of grasping new concepts or kind of playing with new ways of being, sometimes the pendulum can swing real far over the other way, and then eventually we kind of balance out. So, there was a time, where I felt like, oh, I need to protect myself, shield myself and all this, but over time, the more solid I felt in myself, the less I felt the need to protect myself. Like, I know I've got me, And so I think it's a journey. It's a journey. Thank you. Okay, let's see. If you have questions, please put them in. Say hello if you're just joining. Let me know where you're coming in from. Let me see. No, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to say your name right. I'm sorry if I butcher it. Madeline? Is that right? Madeline? Madison. There we go. My lovely assistant helped me out. No, that's okay. That's what I'm here for. Like, this isn't just about me and Maddie. Okay, great. Thank you. This isn't just about me answering questions about intuition. Like, it's, I'm here to give a reading if you need one, or, or give you some clarity or help or whatever. So let me know. Let me know what you need some support around. I'm, just so you know, I'm not just, I used a mirror today. It was powerful. I'm not just here to, yes, I'm here to help you develop your intuition and that too, but I actually, can support you in probably pretty much all areas of life. So, so use me while you got me. Like, let me know what you got. Let me know what you're needing support with. And if you have a question, put it in the Q&A. And know that we kind of jump around here. So, like, it's okay if it's off topic. It doesn't have to be about what we were last talking about. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm just kind of rolling through here, seeing... My moderator does such a great job. So great. He helps me stay on task here. Maddie, did you have a question? Or did you just want support in general? Are you still here? Let me just say, anybody that is going through a difficult time, know that, we all go through divine storms. We all go through challenges, and we're really meant to grow from them. It's meant to help us to expand, to grow, to, to dive deeper into who we are. And so, know and remember that this will pass, right? It's just a very small paragraph in a very large book. And so it's not going to be the end, right? It's not the end of the story. And the more we can really embrace and learn to love ourselves through those challenges, right? Instead of making ourselves be different, because that's where we really suffer, and that's where welcome. That's where we really suffer, and that's where we really struggle, is when we have such resistance to what we're going through. And it's normal, and the less we can resist what's coming up, the easier time we'll have. Yeah, internal conflicts. I had a feeling. So it's a wonderful place to be, in that you're kind of like playing out or searching for what is my deepest desire? What do I really want out of life? What do I really want to experience? What is calling me? And so anytime we feel a contrast to how we want to feel, it's a sign to come back home to ourselves. It's a sign to come back into alignment with who we are and how we be in the world. And a lot of times, we get thrown off track or thrown off balance because of so many things, right? Fear, doubt, the opinions of others, the expectations of others, society's expectations, like all these things. And so it's always a call whenever we're feeling that inner turmoil or that inner conflict or those feelings of like frustration or like anxiety, self-doubt, worry, all the feelings we don't want to feel, right? Let's face it. It's a call to come back home to yourself. And what you're doing is you're recalibrating, and your soul is helping you kind of realign to, what do I really want? Not what does my mom want, not what does my dad want, not just what my partner want, not what, everybody else in the world wants. What do I want? And what do I want to do next, right? And then the trick is to hone into and listen to and trust what that answer is, and allow yourself, give yourself permission to be that, to do that. You have every right to be exactly who you are, as long as who you're being doesn't hurt anybody else. So you are meant to be you. You are meant to express you in the way that you desire, the way that you feel called to. So it's your job to kind of navigate, right? And it can be challenging, but to navigate all the things that kind of get in the way of that. And to give yourself deep love and compassion that you're just figuring it out. And when we're hard on ourselves, or we put ourselves down, or we call ourselves names, it perpetuates the cycle of despair and the cycle of self-hatred and the cycle of it's what sends us spiraling even further. And so it's really important to be kind. How would you treat your best friend? How would you treat a daughter? How would you treat a puppy, right? Like, give yourself the same love, kindness, compassion for what you're going through as you would for anybody else. I hope that was helpful. And I'm sending you love. And know that this too shall pass. Okay, let's see here. Now, okay. What will it take specifically to fix my marriage? Willingness. Willingness on both parts. Meaning the willingness to be open, the willingness to be vulnerable, the willingness to lay down the swords and to end the battle, willingness to remember why you loved each other in the first place, remember why you chose each other. You know, relationships end because people stop doing what they did in the very beginning. You know, in the beginning, you're like, ooh, you're like getting all cute, and you're like, ooh, I'm gonna like be so loving and so nice and do these thoughtful things, and I'm gonna do this and that, and they're doing the same thing, and it's like this yummy like love bubble, and then you just want to stay in the love bubble with them and you never want to come out. But then over time you start coming out of the love bubble and you're like, okay, but we got to live our real lives too, right? And then eventually you're like, yeah, let's do this, let's get married. But over time, little hurts, little resentments, little things pile up and and start to stack. And then eventually we're no longer willing to do the things that that got us there in the first place. We're no longer willing to put ourselves out there, to open our hearts, because we want to be right. So we want to be right, and we want to, win. But there's no winning in a relationship, in a partnership, if somebody's feeling bad. Okay? So it's really important to be willing, both of you. Because if one of you is willing and the other one isn't, that's not going to work either. So you have to both be willing to put down the swords, to forgive each other, to forgive yourselves, and to, see each other as innocent and see each other for the first time, like as if it's the first time, and start to do the things and give love the way you gave it in the beginning, in the way that made you fall in love in the first place, and then never stop doing that. I hope that was helpful. My energy scares, he hurt me. Now I don't know how to let him have my sacred energy. Yeah. So, first of all, I would say, sorry, I was getting caught up on what you were saying. Let me just bring that up so I can see it too. I know it's here. Somewhere. Oh, maybe it's in the Q box. Oh no, I don't know where it is. Okay. Florida crackers. Yes. So I understand when somebody hurts you, how deeply that cut can run, right? But you have a choice. And you have a choice to either decide, nope, he hurt me. Oh, thank you. He hurt me. I'm not okay allowing him back in, or I'm just not willing, and I'm going to move on. That's a choice, right? And then there's another choice. There's a choice of, it takes courage to open your heart regardless, whether it's with him or someone else. And it takes courage to let someone in. And at the end of the day, there you are. Hi. At the end of the day, it's about trusting yourself to know that you're going to make the right decision either way. Trusting that even if you go back, you give him your whole heart and you allow him to, to try again, right? You give it one more shot, to trust that you'll make the decision that's right for you and you'll move on if he does not show up in the way that you need him to show up. So it's like you're taking a risk either way. You're either risking walking away and just cutting the cord and saying, I'm going to go forward. I'm going to take what I learned. I'm not going to carry that heavy baggage into my next relationship. I'm going to honor myself and honor my energy and honor somebody and call in someone who will honor my sacred energy and who will honor me, right? And so I'm not going to put that on a new person. Or you're going to try and see if you're going to be willing to open yourself back up and see if you want to give this another shot. I have a feeling you already know the answer. It's just sometimes how do I want to say this? Sometimes I feel like sometimes we know, but it takes a while for our hearts and our minds to catch up. And so, because it's hard to walk away and it's hard to stay. And it's really about deciding for yourself, if this was your best friend and she was in the exact same situation, what would you want for her? Right? Because sometimes we'll allow and put up with breadcrumbs, because we're just holding on to things that, well, there's these good things too, right? But you deserve more than breadcrumbs. You deserve the whole cake, right? And it requires you both to, regardless in any relationship, requires you both to put in the effort and to put in the work. And it is work. It shouldn't be, relationships are meant to help you heal. To heal old wounds, old patterns. They're meant to trigger you and to bring up your stuff so you can look at that stuff and heal it for good. And your partner, in partnership, you're meant to be able to do that for each other. But if it's just one-sided, that's not really going to work. So, I hope you found that helpful. I think you already know the answer. I think you just have to admit it to yourself and then take action on that knowing. Yeah. I'm sending you love, though. I know it's hard when you've been hurt to open your heart back up. But that's more for you than for anybody else. Yes, you are welcome. What time we got? 7:01. I'll take one more. And then I gotta call it. But I thank you for being here. It's so lovely. Let's see. If I've already answered one of your questions, I'm going to... Oh, hi, Brittany Nicole. Is that the Brittany Nicole I know? I'm not sure, but either way, it's lovely to see you. Thank you. And I'm doing well. Thanks. Like I really am. Yeah. I feel like I went through the last, to be honest, up until about 2 weeks ago, I was going through a pretty dark night of the soul. If you're not familiar what a dark night of the soul is, it's kind of a journey that you take along the spiritual path to go in really deep to kind of your... how do I explain it? Kind of your deepest, darkest parts of you. The parts of you... Tess! Sorry, I just saw your profile photo. Hi! I love you. It's where you go into your deepest, darkest kind of places within yourself, and you're forced... I shouldn't say forced. It's an opportunity to look at the things that are... that are really challenging, and the things that are really difficult. And hi. And Sister Francis, you too. Hello, honey. And so it's really, it's sometimes it's really not fun, But it's so powerful. And when you can move through that and kind of see where you've been like playing the victim, or where you've maybe been not as kind to yourself, or maybe not as kind to others, or where you're like seeing where there's cracks in the foundation, so to speak, you can actually rebuild your foundation on something much stronger, much more solid. So I've definitely been going through it for the last like 4 years on and off. And, you know, I was trying so hard to like make it work, and all I wanted to do was like help people and support people so badly, you know, so desperately. And I knew that this was what I was meant to do, but I was struggling with being seen, and I was having a hard time like putting myself out there. And like, you know, for those of you who don't really know much about me or my story, like I've been a photographer for the last 14 years. It took me about 9 years before I got on the other side of the camera, because I went through a period, especially probably about 23 to about 30, I don't know, like 12 years, where I really hated myself, hated my body, did not feel good in my own skin, and definitely struggled with body dysmorphia, there we go, and disordered eating, and so many things. And so being seen, when I decided to, you know, when I got the intuitive call to become a coach, which was like a year-long program that I went through, and then I opened up to all my spiritual gifts, and all this stuff happened right at the same time. And I started my healing journey, and all these things happened. And I just so badly wanted to do this work, you know, but I was scared shitless. I was so scared to put myself out on video, out on you know, like to be on the other side of the camera, like to talk and to, you know, I had to come out of the closet as a psychic medium, and like all these things. And it was so terrifying, but I kept doing it, and I kept showing up. And even I'd go through periods where I wouldn't show up for a week, and then I'd come back on, and then you know, it was like a constant like back and forth. And like, oh, I just knew that this is what my soul is calling me to do, but I didn't know how to break through that like barrier and that fear and that self-doubt around being seen. And so I just fell on my face so often for like years and years and years. And it was so painful at times, but I kept going, and I kept getting back up and putting myself out there, and over again. And over time, it got a little bit more comfortable. And over time, it became a little bit easier. But I still wasn't seeing the results I wanted to see. And so it was really hard and really frustrating. And then about, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, I just decided, like, I'm done trying. I wasn't giving up. I wasn't quitting. But I was like, I'm done trying to force anything. I'm just going to have fun. I'm going to play. I'm going to just put myself out there and let it be that, and we'll see what happens. And then I went from like barely having like 500 people, you know, on TikTok, and I was just wanting to go live so I could be here and serve people, to like, I just hit 40,000 today. So thank you for that. But it's like finally happening, you know, and so I share that with you to say that like, life is gonna knock you down sometimes, but you just gotta keep getting back up, and you gotta keep going. And if you have a fire in your heart and a message in your soul, and you know you're here and you're meant to share that with the world, don't stop. Don't quit. Keep going. Because eventually it will happen. Eventually it will. You never know when it's going to happen, okay? So I share that with you to say, like, if you have a dream, if you have a vision, you have a knowing that you're here for a bigger purpose, don't stop going for your dreams. Yes. Whew, thank you. Okay, now I'll answer one more question. Sorry, that was coming through. Hello. Okay. 3B Woman says, is there a way the deceased can contact people? Yeah, absolutely. It's mediumship. It's through, signs. It's through symbols. It's through the radio. It's through animals. Like, for example, my grandmother shows up in hearts everywhere. Like, hearts in the sky, hearts on the ground, hearts everywhere. And I know that's her. So, yeah, spirit is always connecting with us, trying to get our attention. You'll see it in numbers, you'll see it in symbols, you'll see it in animals, you'll see it in sometimes other people. You'll see it in so many different ways if we're present enough to pay attention to how it's coming in. So, yeah, and actually I spoke on this earlier that you can actually have a heartfelt conversation with someone, like a loved one who's passed. Like, don't be afraid to still talk to them and still, connect with them, because they're with you, And if you don't feel it right away, like, that's okay. Keep practicing, keep trusting, and know that you're going to experience it. You're going to feel it. But it's when we, like, force it, or we, like, get real weird about it, right? And we're like, no, that can't be right. That can't be the answer. This is too easy. This is what when we get all, like, in our heads about it. Here's the thing. Intuition lives in the heart. It lives in the connection with your life force energy. It doesn't live in the mind. The mind is what's coming in and, like, blocking stuff. So it's important to tell the mind to go have a seat over there and I'll be right with you, right? And allow the information to come. Allow the answers to come. And it requires patience. And it requires practice. And so the patience part is really important because, we're in this like world that's so, like, busy, go, better make it fast, better hurry it up, fast food, fast this, fast that, bleh. Even, like, sometimes I'll get complaints in the video like, it's too long. I'm like, there's a reason I'm stretching it out. There's a reason for you to be able to experience this, because your ass needs to slow down and be able to receive the answer. So we get real weird as humans and we try to, like, make it happen and make it fast and do it this. It doesn't work that way. It requires calm. Be chill. Be relaxed. Like, allow the answers to come. Allow the inspiration to come. And one of the best ways you can do that is get out and play. Like, go have fun. Do something that excites you, that lights you up, that invigorates your energy. When you get into play and you kind of, like, here's the thing. If you're getting, like, freaked out about something or overwhelmed or whatever, it is not a good idea to keep pushing forward, right? And that's what we're told we should do. Push, hustle, force. No. Walk away. Go play. Go shift the energy. Go move shit around. Pardon my French, especially if there are little kiddos on here. Okay, thank you. Allow yourself to chill out and to relax and to receive the answers. You got to be calm in order to get in touch with, in tune with your own energy, your own knowing, your own intuition, and definitely to tune in with spirit. Like, we got to calm down. Got to connect back to the earth. We need to connect back to ourselves. We need to turn off the notifications, put the phone away, like, let ourselves just be. And when we do that, we will be able to connect. And it feels effortless. But we have to be willing to chill. Thanks. Let's see. Okay. You needed this. Oh, you're welcome. Sorry, I just want to make sure. Okay, my sister passed away today. I'm so sorry, honey. And your house smelled like blown out candles. Yeah, so that's another way. So that tells me that, okay, I'm going to butcher it because I always butcher the way that this particular Claire. So there's all these, there's like many different Claires in the way that we receive information. One of the ways is like, it's like Claire Gustian or something like that. I always butcher how it's pronounced. I'm not even really sure exactly how it's pronounced. But basically it's the ability to smell. So that tells me like that smell that you're picking up is kind of her trying to get your attention to say like, hey honey, like I'm still here. I'm still with you. Like that smell is, that tells me that that's a strong, I would say that's a gift of yours to be able to smell. And then secondly, I think it's just her way of letting you know, like, I'm still here. Like, even though I've moved on, I'm still here. And I know this is so fresh. So it's, you know, it's such a difficult thing to experience, but let yourself feel it. Let yourself feel the loss and let yourself celebrate her. Like, let yourself celebrate who she was and what was wonderful about her and what you remember about her. Like, it can be both. It can be sadness and grief and loss, and it can be celebration too. So like, let yourself celebrate. And I think that was her way of like letting you know that she's with you. You know, it's not over. You know, it's in a different form, yes, but it doesn't mean that it's over. And it doesn't mean that that's it. And I'm getting really hot right now. I'm just trying to notice if anybody's coming in here. Just give me a minute. Let me read this one real quick here. Yeah, real quick, I think it's Chelsea, maybe 89. Yeah, that happens a lot where sometimes like a grandparent would see or meet someone, you know, a child that has not yet been born or has or is very young. And let that be confirmation to everyone on here that that again, we don't, it's not over. It's not over. Yes, maybe that version or, you know, that human experience is over, but that person, that energy is still there and they're still with you. They're still very much with you and they're still very much the same. So if they were stubborn as hell in real life, they're stubborn there too. But they don't have all the humanly problems and they don't have all the, you know, they just don't worry about the stuff that we worry about. And so there's a peace and an ease and an understanding. I'm just trying to see who's coming through because I feel like somebody is. I'm getting really hot. Let me just have a second here. Just chat amongst yourselves. Sometimes it's a little challenging with so many people being on. I'm feeling like I'm picking up a girl, like a woman, a female, like a younger woman though, like, I want to say like, I'm a little confused, somewhere between like 13 and 23. Like sweet young girl with like big blue eyes, blonde hair, pale skin, really kind of petite, I would say, like shorter, thin. Does that resonate with anybody? Yeah. I would trust that. Sorry, does anybody have anybody that fits that description? Anybody? No, with me, no. Yeah, I feel like there's a young girl coming through, like, just because of her, like, size, I can't tell if she's, like, 13 or 23. Like, those two numbers kept coming up, like, 13 or 23. I feel like she liked to wear short shorts. Does she like wearing short shorts? Yes, your friend who died. Okay, Shay. Thank you. That helps to know, like, who I'm connecting with, because again, with so many people on, sometimes it's hard for me to tell, like, who I'm connecting with. I feel like she's really spunky, and like she liked wearing like short like I see her in like cut off jeans with like little fringes on the, on the sides. And yeah, I feel like she's just kind of like spunky and like life of the party kind of girl. Just really like, I feel like kind of a sense of like joyful and lighthearted. Just really like, just really fun. And yeah. She was tiny, blonde hair. Okay. Okay. That could be where I'm getting it a little confused, because that would make sense, because I heard like 13 or like 23, like, so that would tell me that, okay, she's maybe in her 20s, but like still acts really young and like kind of, yeah, okay. Yeah, I feel like this is for you. So let me just see what she's, yeah, definitely. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I feel like she's just really like kind of like lighthearted, joyful, bubbly, quirky, just kind of fun-loving. I feel like a lot of people wanted to protect her, or like they were very like protective of her, which makes sense. Kind of the like little sister, big sister thing. Why do I feel so damn hot? Like, I'm just trying to see what she wants to share or what's kind of coming through for her. That's really interesting. Do you guys see that with how it looks like waves going through the screen? Yeah, thank you. She's telling me that she wants you to know that she's still very joyful, and that she's free. I'm trying to see if I can get a little bit more about her, and kind of what happened. Was there a fire? I'm feeling like really hot, and I feel like there's something to do with like a fire. Or is there anything that you can relate to that, that around fire? Does that make sense at all? Oh, shit. I'm so sorry. Okay, well, that makes sense. I'm just like, oh my God, I am like dying over here. Like, it's so hot. Okay. Well, I feel like one of the things she wants you to know is, like, she doesn't remember any of that. Like, she didn't, oh, she fell asleep at the wheel. Okay. I'm so sorry for your loss. I feel like it was very sudden for everybody and obviously very unexpected. And I feel like a lot of people felt like it was such a tragic loss. I feel like she does really want you to know that, like, she doesn't remember the crash or it happening. Like, she already had kind of, like, left her body before she experienced any of the, like, pain associated with that. So just let, to just help ease anybody. I feel like that's a message that's really important for you to give to her mom, especially. I think part of the reason she's coming through tonight is because she wants you to give that message and let her know that, like, she didn't suffer. Yeah, you're welcome. That she didn't suffer. It was unfortunate, and that it was just kind of like, human error, which happens. Sometimes deaths are kind of preemptively part of our journey, right? Loss and losing certain people sometimes are the catalyst for other things to evolve and happen and things like that. And then some things are just human error. This was a case where it was human error. And she just wants the people who love her, all the people that look at her as, like, big sisters and brothers, and, like, mom especially. I feel like she had a deep connection with her mom. She just wants everybody to know that she's good, she's okay. She didn't mean for any of this to happen. She did not suffer, and that that she's okay. I think this is, I think that's kind of the biggest thing she wanted to share, is that, that she didn't experience any of the crash or the fire. She had already kind of left her body at that point, if that makes sense. And then she's sorry about who she's left behind, but it was an accident. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm so grateful that she came through. For those of you who I wasn't able to give a mediumship for tonight, know a couple things, like, especially for those that were really recent, sometimes they don't come through because they know you need time to, like, to grieve and to actually experience loss. And unfortunately, it's not one of those things where I can just be like, yo, so-and-so, Elvis or Marilyn Monroe or whoever, I can't just, like, call people up. So when it happens, it's much more, like, kind of organic. And, like, this was the message that needed to come through tonight. Shay was here, I was here, and her friend, her friend came through to give that message. So know that that doesn't mean your loved ones who have passed aren't there, or that they don't want to come through or give a message, but just know and trust that it all happens in divine timing. Like, it all happens when you're meant to hear the message, or the message is meant to be given. So, but know that I love you, I see you, and I'm grateful that I could, be here with all of you tonight. So, just those of you who are new here, know that I'll be on live Monday through Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. So if you want your questions answered, be sure to, that's amazing. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. So Shay said, I literally scrolled to this 10 seconds before you connected with her. So that again, everything happens in divine timing. Like, she was clearly meant to be here, meant to receive this message. Her friend decided to come through me. You know, so like, trust that when you're meant to hear from your loved ones, like, you will. Okay? And yeah. Yeah, honest and sorry, sometimes it comes through way faster than I can talk. Okay. Honest Abe Lover. Yes, I do private readings as well. That's definitely, they're more in depth for sure. And much more likely that who you're wanting to connect with will come through. We're on a call tonight, or on a call. We're on a live tonight with like over 20 people and people coming in and out. And that's a lot of energy that I'm picking up and working with. And so I feel like, one, I'm able to focus so much easier when it's individual readings. But then, two, you know, when it's alive, it's kind of a, you know, never, thank you so much. When it's alive, I can't determine what's going to happen. Like, it just, I kind of go with the flow. It's interesting. Certain nights have had kind of certain themes about questions or readings or things people like wanted to know or asked. And then tonight was a mediumship night. So, yeah, but I'm grateful that you're all here. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for being here and being witness to Shay and to support her and give her some love while she received her message. It's really important to hold space for people, you know, and to be kind to people. Like, everybody's going through stuff, you know, like, especially now, this is a time where, like, we've never experienced this, like, before, ever, throughout history. Like, a pandemic, like, nobody knows how to navigate that. So that's hard enough, right? That's challenging enough. But then, on top of that, like, every single person is fighting their own battles within themselves, with other people, you know, and so it's really important to just be kind and hold space. And so I thank you for being here and being loving and kind and showing support in your love and giving, you know, and just holding space and giving me space too, to be able to deliver these messages. I know, you know, it you know, I don't know if it's what it's like for you guys to sit there as I'm like tuning in, but like, and so I'm here. I want to help as many people as I possibly can. So thank you so much for being here. I'm sending you so much love, and know that your time will come too to get the message that you need to hear. Okay? Good night, everyone. Mwah. Love you. Okay.